all my years, I've seen countless tragedies unfold. Wars erupting over whispers, nations collapsing beneath the weight of vanity, entire civilizations crumbling slowly, unnoticed, like sand castles consumed by rising tides. I've seen the cunning thrive and the innocent fall. But if you were to ask me, right now, what the single most destructive force in all human history truly is, my answer would surprise you. It isn't greed, it isn't hatred, it's not even the deliberate malice we fear so much. No, it's something far simpler and infinitely more terrifying. Human stupidity. Now, before you chuckle, before you brush it off as merely amusing, consider this. Stupidity has brought more kingdoms to ruin, more friendships to ashes, and more lives to despair than any carefully plotted cruelty ever could. Cruelty has logic, however twisted. Stupidity has none. Yet, despite its devastating nature, no one dares speak its name. No one studies it openly. No one teaches us how to recognize its hidden faces. Until one man did. Carlo Cipolla, an obscure name to most, a mere economic historian, quietly observing humanity's patterns, crafted a theory so unsettling that scholars and politicians alike preferred silence to confrontation. He suggested something hauntingly simple. Stupidity isn't ignorance. Stupidity is destruction, without gain, without reason. A fool harms others, and in the very same motion cripples himself. In other words, stupidity is chaos, and it hides in plain sight. It's everywhere, my friends, wearing sharp suits in boardrooms, giving confident speeches from podiums, smiling kindly behind counters, or even sleeping softly beside you. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't have to, because its greatest weapon is our disbelief. We assume stupidity is harmless. We dismiss it with laughter. Yet quietly, silently, beneath the surface of our arrogance, it's shaping the world, pulling strings in shadows we never bother to check. Evil you can spot from afar, but stupidity, you only see its work when it's already too late. Tonight, together, we will pull back the curtain and gaze directly into the eyes of this strange, irrational beast. But I warn you, once you see it clearly, you'll never look at humanity the same way again. Because the silent force that shapes the world isn't what you thought, and it's been right in front of you, all along. Now, before you dismiss this as some rant against fools or jesters, stop. We aren't talking about simple ignorance. No. True stupidity is something darker, stranger, and far more dangerous. You see, Carlo Cipolla didn't define stupidity by intelligence tests or education. To him, stupidity was not an absence of knowledge, nor was it measured by IQ scores. It was defined, disturbingly, by how one acts, by the silent damage one leaves behind. Imagine a grid with two axes. On one side is self-interest, on the other, the interest of others. It creates four groups of people: the intelligent, who benefit both themselves and others; the helpless, who unintentionally harm themselves but benefit others; the bandits, who selfishly help themselves at the expense of others; and then the truly dangerous, those who Cipolla chillingly labeled as stupid. These are the individuals who harm others without gaining anything themselves. They wreak chaos and destruction, and for what? Nothing. No gain, no logic, not even selfishness. Just blind, meaningless ruin. Think about this for a moment. The bandit, as vicious as he may be, has logic behind his actions. You can predict him, negotiate with him, even outsmart him, because his goal is clear: personal gain. But the truly stupid, they strike randomly, unpredictably, often without malice, yet always leaving devastation behind. They are guided by impulse, emotion, arrogance, ignorance, every force except reason itself. Stupidity, then, is not ignorance. It's irrationality combined with destructiveness. It's chaos wrapped in confidence. It's the loudmouth leader dragging an entire team into disaster because he believes he's right. It's the reckless influencer spreading misinformation, causing harm without even knowing it. It's the arrogant manager who destroys team morale for nothing but his own ego, never realizing the damage he's caused until it's far too late, if he realizes it at all. This is what Cipolla warned us about. Stupidity is not a weakness, it's a weapon. It's the silent poison that ruins careers, destroys families, topples governments, and does so without purpose or benefit, even to the person wielding it. And this is why it's so terrifying. Because stupidity is not something you can predict, contain, or control. It doesn't follow rules, it doesn't respond to reason. It simply is, a force of nature as unpredictable and unstoppable as a storm. And now you must ask yourself, how many of these storms are quietly gathering around you, unnoticed? How close are you to someone who's quietly destroying everything in their path, unaware and unrepentant? Brace yourself, my friend, because this spiral goes far deeper than you realize. In all my years, I've seen men worry about evil lurking in shadows, about villains plotting elaborate schemes. But the real threat? It's not some mastermind. No, it's something much simpler and infinitely harder to detect. Carlo Cipolla laid it bare with ruthless clarity in his first law. Always and inevitably, everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals in circulation. You see, stupidity is cunningly democratic. It crosses borders, languages, religions, and incomes. It doesn't discriminate. A fool can wear rags or Armani suits. He can teach in your universities, lead your cities, or sit comfortably in the highest chair of corporate boardrooms. We prefer to think of stupidity as a rarity, a curiosity, something we chuckle at in small doses. But stupidity is not an isolated incident, nor is it merely amusing. It's a viral contagion quietly running rampant, hidden behind titles and certifications, behind authority and influence. Look around your workplace, your community, your leaders. Can you see them? They blend in seamlessly, disguised behind masks of confidence, wrapped tightly in cloaks of charisma. These are men who confidently march armies off cliffs, leaders who bankrupt entire countries while genuinely believing they're bringing prosperity. These are managers who smother creativity in the name of procedure, parents who poison futures thinking they're nurturing them, voters who cheerfully doom themselves and generations after to failure and despair. But here's the bitter truth you must grasp. Stupidity isn't obvious until it's too late. The fool rarely announces himself. He confidently assures you he's in control, that he sees clearly when no one else can, and so you underestimate them. You trust, you cooperate. You assume logic, reason, or even basic self-preservation must guide their hand. But remember Cipolla's chilling insight. Stupidity defies rationality. It does not fear consequences because it cannot comprehend them. This is the very essence of the stupid person's power, the unpredictability, the obliviousness. They are not villains plotting your downfall, they're worse. They don't plot at all, they simply act, guided by the blind, unwavering force of their own obliviousness. This is why they persist. This is why they spread. This is why they conquer, time and again, while intelligent men stand back, bewildered, unable or unwilling to recognize the depth of the danger surrounding them. And so, my friend, be wary. Look closer. They're everywhere, hidden in plain sight. And your survival depends not just on seeing them clearly, but believing that beneath that confident smile, beneath those reassuring words, lies chaos, lies ruin, lies the quiet poison of human stupidity. They say education cures ignorance. They say intelligence shields you from foolishness. But that's the comforting lie we tell ourselves. I've lived long enough to see stupidity infiltrate every fortress humanity built to keep it out. Carlo Cipolla's second law is painfully clear. The probability that someone is stupid is completely independent of their other characteristics. Think about that for a second. It means there is no safe haven, no social class, no degree, no privilege or experience that grants immunity. Stupidity respects no borders. It ignores certificates hanging neatly on walls, mocks pedigrees, and makes a fool of wealth and power alike. I've seen brilliant professors who ruined departments because they couldn't admit their mistakes. CEOs whose stubborn ignorance ran billion-dollar companies into the ground. Politicians, educated at the finest institutions, whose blind decisions left millions suffering. You think stupidity can't reach the highest echelons? Look closer. The corridors of power are littered with people whose sole qualification is that they acted confidently without a second thought. See, intelligence pauses. It considers. It doubts. But stupidity, it charges forward, headlong and blind, immune to doubt, immune to reflection. And here lies the tragedy. Our world, our institutions, they reward speed, decisiveness, and confidence. They promote loud voices, not wise ones. They glorify boldness, even if it's reckless. So why can't you stop them? Because you can't reason with a person who doesn't realize they're causing harm. You can't outsmart someone who doesn't play by logic's rules. Stupid people don't see themselves as mistaken, destructive, or foolish. They see themselves as right, courageous, and misunderstood. Their ignorance is armored by certainty, and that armor deflects all reason, evidence, and critique. Every attempt you make to correct their course, every logical argument you present, every gentle suggestion only strengthens their resolve. To them, your reasoned approach isn't kindness or wisdom. It's a threat. They double down, they shout louder. And because the world rewards volume over truth, action over reflection, they rise higher, leaving ruin behind them. Cipolla understood this better than anyone. He saw clearly that stupidity is not a lack, it's a destructive force. It's not passive, it's active, relentless, infectious. And the systems we've built don't protect us from it, they amplify it. You can't stop them because the world loves the stupid. It rewards their blindness, praises their recklessness, and follows their loud, confident steps right over the cliff. And while intelligence hesitates at the edge, stupid confidence marches boldly on, dragging the rest of us down into chaos with it. You know, in all these years, I've learned something deeply unsettling. The truly dangerous man isn't the villain you see in movies, plotting quietly in shadowed corners. No, that man has logic. He has goals. He's predictable. The truly dangerous ones are those who roam freely among us, armed with ignorance and shielded by their own obliviousness. According to Cipolla's third law, it's precisely this person, the stupid person, who poses the greatest threat. You see, a criminal, at least, acts with purpose. You can reason with a criminal, bargain with him, because his self-interest anchors him. He calculates risk against reward, but the stupid person, he operates on chaos. He neither gains nor comprehends the damage he causes. Yet, like a blind man with a torch, he'll ignite the whole village just because he stumbled in the dark. And that's the terrifying truth of it. The stupid person drags you down with him, not out of hatred, not out of envy, but simply because he doesn't see the cliff edge he's racing towards. He doesn't understand consequences. He doesn't understand limits. And worst of all, he truly believes he's doing right. His ignorance is armored by self-assurance. His incompetence is defended by confidence. Make no mistake, villains might scare you, but stupidity should terrify you. Because evil men break laws, yes, but stupid men, they break entire worlds. They say the cream rises to the top, but I've lived long enough to tell you it isn't cream at all. It's something far less pleasant. You wonder how the world became like this? How the most clueless people end up holding all the power, making all the rules. It's not by accident. The intelligent, the careful, and the thoughtful, they hesitate. They reflect. They second-guess themselves. They assume others think as deeply as they do. But the stupid, they charge forward blindly, loudly, without the slightest pause for doubt. And modern society loves that reckless momentum. Think about it. Politics, corporations, media, all built to reward noise over substance, confidence over competence, arrogance over accuracy. The system isn't broken, it's perfectly designed to elevate fools. Because stupidity never doubts itself, it always appears decisive. Because stupidity never learns, it repeats its errors with conviction, convincing others that its stubbornness is strength. And slowly, surely, the stupid find themselves surrounded by followers who mistake certainty for wisdom, loudness for leadership. Those who could stop them, those who see clearly, stand back, baffled, unable to believe that this parade of fools could truly be winning. But they are. They have always been. And until intelligence learns to speak louder, move faster, and stop underestimating the sheer destructive power of ignorance, stupid people will continue to rule the world. I've spent enough years watching people try to fix the unfixable. You see it every day. Good, honest souls pouring their energy into educating the ignorant, patiently explaining the obvious, desperately trying to turn fools into thinkers. But here's Cipolla's brutal truth, the fourth law, the one nobody likes hearing. You cannot save the stupid. Try to reason with them, and your words vanish into a void. Show them evidence, and they'll stare back blankly, or worse, smile and nod, only to double down on their next blunder. They're immune, not just to wisdom, but to reality itself. Because stupidity isn't ignorance that craves correction. It's arrogance wrapped in confusion. The stupid man doesn't know he's blind. He believes he's a visionary. And when you challenge him, he grows louder, more confident, dragging you down into his chaos. Think carefully. How many times have you been hurt not by someone's cruelty, but by their cluelessness? How many good intentions have turned into wasted efforts, leaving you exhausted, disillusioned, and frustrated? Remember this: stupidity never learns, it never self-corrects, and it wears 1,000 masks: charm, authority, sincerity. But beneath them all is emptiness, chaos, and ruin. You can't save them. Don't even try. The only person you can save is yourself. You've journeyed with me deep into the dark heart of stupidity. You've glimpsed its true face, the blind, self-destructive force that quietly rules our world. By now, you understand one critical truth. Stupidity doesn't care about outcomes, reason, or logic. It simply moves forward like a storm without direction, leaving ruin behind. This brings us to Cipolla's fifth and final law. A stupid person causes harm to others while deriving no gain, or even suffering loss themselves. Let me tell you what this means for your life, how you must navigate a world filled with hidden dangers and concealed fools. First, realize this clearly. You cannot fix them, you cannot reason with them, and most importantly, you cannot save them from themselves. To engage with stupidity is to gamble with your sanity and lose every time. Instead, your survival depends on recognition and distance. Like wild animals marked by nature's warnings, vivid colors signaling poison, stupid individuals leave clear signs behind. They speak louder than necessary, argue without purpose, and act boldly without thought. They are confident, yet dangerously ignorant, charismatic, yet irrational. Once you identify them, you must detach. Distance is not cowardice, it is wisdom. Preserve your energy, your resources, and your mind. Remember, the greatest threat isn't evil, it's mindless destruction. Evil you can reason with, negotiate with, even defeat, but stupidity burns the bridge you're standing on simply because it can. So, listen carefully to an old man who has watched history unfold through the eyes of fools and wise men alike. If you truly wish for peace, real peace, personal peace, stay vigilant. Identify stupidity early, disengage without hesitation, and guard your intelligence as your most precious treasure. Because if stupidity is indeed humanity's most powerful force, then your silence and distance are the greatest weapons you'll ever wield. So here we are. You thought evil ruled the world, but now you know the truth. It's not malice. It's stupidity. It's the reckless, the irrational, the ones who harm without reason and destroy without gain. You've seen them. They sit in meetings, they scream on screens, they lead countries, and they never ask if they're wrong because they don't need to. The intelligent man, he doubts, he questions, he waits. And in that silence, the stupid rise. They don't hesitate, they don't reflect, they just act. And the world, it rewards noise, it celebrates confidence, even when that confidence is wrapped around pure destruction. So, what do? You cannot cure stupidity. You cannot negotiate with it. You cannot save the world by explaining logic to chaos, but you can protect yourself, and you can see them, finally, truly see them. That is the first defense of intelligence, recognition. The second, refusal. Refuse to be dragged down. Refuse to waste breath on those who cannot hear. Refuse to believe that just because someone speaks loud, they must know where they're going, because they don't, and they're bringing others with them. So if you've seen them now, if the veil has finally dropped, say it in the comments, I see them now. And share this video, not to go viral, but to wake the silent minds, the ones who still think reason will save them. It won't, unless they sharpen it. This isn't fear, it's clarity, and clarity is power.